Anjali Bhimani, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
We have a lot to talk about. I'm very excited to dive into a bunch of different topics with you, but first and foremost, the main thing on the plate that I want to cover is the fact that Netflix's special, season 2, premiered about a week ago, and you joined the cast as Kim's mom, Bina. So
Yeah.
tell me, what has that been like to jump in on that project?
It has been really, really, really wonderful because I was a fan of the show well before I got to be on it. Poonam Patel, who plays Kim, is a friend of mine. We worked together years ago. And so when I had heard that she was going to be on it, I started watching the show, the first season, and fell in love with it. What Ryan O'Connell has created with that show is something so, pardon the phrase, special, but it's something so special. It's the story of, for those of you who haven't seen it yet or who don't know about the show, it's the story, it centers around a young gay man who also happens to have cerebral palsy and his sort of introduction to the world as an independent young adult, and him learning about finding his independence and exploring his sexuality. And while it is about specifically him, it's also about these really universal things that so many people go through. And the cast of characters in it, Kim is amazing, and he's got this crazy boss, Olivia, and it's just this wonderful celebration of life, a wonderful celebration of finding your way. Jessica Hecht, oh my God, Jessica Hecht as his mother. She's just like, oh, she's so good. So I was already like in love with the show. And then this role came around and I was lucky enough to book it. And I was so incredibly happy because, first of all, anyone who thinks I can share genes, like that I might have passed on genes that would have created the two children that I have in the show, I'm very pleased to know that I could have possibly created them. So that was, really, really fun working with them, working with Poonam, and also working with Karan Soni, who plays my son, and Utkarsh Ambudkar, who plays like a family friend, and Ajay Mehta and I go way back because he's been my husband before, not in real life. Let's make sure that we don't stop that rumor right there, but on camera. He's also been my dad before, and that would be really awkward if he'd been both of those, but on camera. Just on camera. So joining the cast then was just this embarrassment of riches, because you're getting to work with friends. You're getting to work during the pandemic when there wasn't a lot of work, and working on such a heartwarming and an amazing show with such a great crew and creative team. I had worked with Anna DeCosa, who's one of the directors and producers on the show. I'd worked with her before, so it was just this really lovely course of events. And the season is. It's I'm so sad it's over, but it's like this perfect little present, this
Right.
wrapped up package. And I appreciate that they did it that way.
Everything you said makes me so happy to hear, but also I can't agree more because I think what's so special about special.
It's so hard because you can't get away without saying special, but it is. It just is. You just have to keep.
It is special because I think there are viewers such as myself who maybe don't resonate with Ryan's character, but there is an audience that maybe this is like a huge aha moment for seeing representation in full. If they're part of the LGBTQ community and they have a disability, it's like, oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
if you don't resonate with that in full, so viewers such as myself, we all can resonate with living your truth and owning who you are, which is a huge thing.
And the family issues that he has to deal with, with being very close to someone, but also needing their independence, finding your own voice, finding your own light. What is the framework of who you are?
Right. I couldn't agree more.
Right.
And the cast executes it so beautifully. So knowing that you have known Poonam before and now working with her, how is it with playing mother and daughter? How is
Oh, so fun. So fun. I mean, there was actually a very funny moment there are a lot of very funny moments on set, but I am not particularly great at tying a sari by myself, and thank God she was there. So I was like, I feel like the tables have turned. My daughter is now wrapping my sari. I feel like this is supposed to be the other way around. No, it was just fantastic. I mean, she's such an incredible performer, and she's also such a giving person and so generous and so funny, and it was just a joy. I mean, the whole experience. I'm going to sound so cliche, but I'm just like, I loved being in that family and in that family. Because they were an existing family on set already, like so obvious that they were all very tight. You never know what you're going to walk into. We walked into this just delightful little family of amazing people who just happened to be standing 6 feet apart from each other wearing masks.
I have to say, I'm so jealous that you got to work with that cast because everyone in it is so amazing. I'm only on episode 2 or 3 of season 2, but I did take a sneak peek at the trailer and I saw Leslie Jordan in it. Did you get to work with him at
You
all?
did see him. I did not. But what oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to see him. He's just
I love
delightful.
him to pieces so much. So I'm really looking forward to continuing binging season 2. But aside from Special, you've been in numerous other series. You play Nina Patel, a reoccurring character on Modern Family. Oh my gosh, Modern Family. That show, I was so sad when it took its final bow. I could have watched it
I
forever.
know that another incredible family and another incredible cast. Like, that was a very finely tuned machine. By season 5 and season 6, like things just moved like this. But just because they were moving fast, it didn't mean that they were not taking their time to connect with people. And I loved that. We may have just been shooting 1 or 2 scenes, but there was always a chance to really talk with Julie and always really a chance to really talk with Ty.
Did you have a favorite castmate to work with?
I mean, I don't know that I can pick a favorite. I worked the most with Julie Bowen. So I got a chance to talk with her the most. And it was fun because even the first episode that I did, I worked with Ty and Julie. And I was so grateful that I had a moment in the makeup trailer before we even started shooting to tell Ty that I had first seen him years and years ago in an off-Broadway production of Burn This, and he was incredible. And so I could talk to him about that and talk to him about doing Broadway and off-Broadway and theater, and then talk to Julie about going to Brown because my brother and sister had gone to Brown when she had gone to Brown. So there was also an out of this experience connection. One thing that I know I love as an actor, and I hope that other people do too, is that, we may have a huge breadth of work, but there are perhaps 1 or 2 or 3 things that people think of when they see us. So when someone comes to you and knows you from something specific, different, something maybe smaller, but that mattered to you. For me, whenever people come up to me and talk to me about the theater work that I've done or certain smaller things that maybe just don't have a big name, it warms up a different part of me.
Right.
Because it's always exciting to be a part of big things. But sometimes it's those little projects that have a soft spot in your heart.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of passion that goes into that. I'm curious, would you consider, or do you still do on stage theater, or would you consider, and you still do that? Because I know you dabble into you do storytelling in every different aspect you can for acting. You do movies, which I want to touch on. I've got so many things I want to talk to you about. But TV, theater, voice acting. So you still carry that passion for theater, and that's
absolutely. Like that's never going to leave me. There's no way. I mean, first of all, it was my first
love
language, we'll say, my first performing language. And I think that's common for a lot of people because, let's face it, in high school, you're probably not going to have a television acting class, but chances are there's a school play, right? So it was always my first language and my first love, and the first way I got into acting as a professional, because that was where that was what I thought I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And then it just became a series of like, oh, you're going to let me do that? Or, I can do that. I'm allowed to do that thing? So it became a series of things like that. I basically just wanted to say yes to any chance I got. So in school, it was acting, it was singing, it was dancing, it was improv. And then after I left school, then added television and opera and voiceover. And, now I just say whatever they pay me to do that's legal.
I love it. Do you prefer one over the other? TV?
No, not overall. In moment to moment, sometimes I do. Sometimes I get really, really deeply into a particular medium, but I certainly can't overall pick a favorite. I mean, obviously during the pandemic, I was very grateful for voiceover because we didn't, we couldn't leave the house, and we didn't have to leave the house. We could continue doing that from the home studio. But each form of storytelling, each medium has its own special sauce. Each one has its pros and its cons. You can tell such intimate stories and have such, have moments when you're on camera that you can't necessarily have on stage. But then when you're on stage, you have this relationship with the audience that is so electric. Sometimes it's decidedly the opposite, and then you're just praying there's another performance. But there's this wonderful connection that you have with the audience that you really can't have when you're doing TV or when you're doing voiceover. And when you're doing voiceover, you can, this shell that we are in, it doesn't matter. I can be a dude, I can be a girl, I can be a bird, I can be a plane, it doesn't matter. I feel like the best medium for the art is the one that it's expressed in.
Right. Well, I feel as an actress, you're so transcendent because you achieve storytelling in such a wonderful way on all these different platforms. It's not like you shine well on TV, but maybe not so much in film. You do amazing in everything you do. You're so transcendent, so talented. I feel so honored to get to be chatting with you. So,
You're going to make me blush burgundy. I'm going to start matching.
I feel like I'm starting to blush. Now, touching on film, you were in 3 movies, very different genres across the board. You know, Bellman was a comedy. All My Life.
Yeah, right.
And then All My Life was romance drama, and Evil Eye was thriller. And I want to touch a little bit on Evil Eye because it was produced by Priyanka Chopra and Blumhouse. How incredible.
Yeah, that's a heck of a combination and an unexpected combination, right?
Right.
That movie actually it's such a cool story. At least I feel like it's cool story for me, because I had done a reading of a very first early draft of a play by this playwright named Madhuri Shekhar. Mm-hmm. An incredible playwright, and she also happens to be the person who wrote Evil Eye. And it was her first screenplay. She'd adapted it from an audio play that she had done. So I had listened to the audio play and I thought it was so cool. And then I saw that there were auditions for it. So I actually, I was the one who pursued that because I really wanted to. I wanted to work with Madhuri again. I loved the role, and it turned out that it was shooting at the same time as the romantic movie that we shot in New Orleans, All My Life. So it worked out perfectly that I would already be there.
Everything fell into place. And what I love is it really is a thriller, but it's surprising because normally if I watch a film from Blumhouse, I'm like, okay, I'm sleeping with the lights on for the next couple of months. Terrifyingly scary horror, but it really is like a thriller, not so much like
this one's much more of a psychological thriller for sure. For sure.
Which
yeah.
still keeps you on the edge of your seat, but you're not going to be like keeping the lights on, going to bed, scared of like ghosts.
You're like, what's happening? No. Yeah.
Which is always good. Those are all very different genres though. So I wonder, do you have a favorite genre to work in?
Again, I mean, I sound like a hugely indecisive person, but the fact is I just don't like to pick favorites, period. I have my favorite human. He's the guy I married. But other than that, like, I don't really have favorite, I can't pick, especially because within any drama, there is comedy. Within any comedy, there is drama. Within thrillers, there is comedy. Within comedy, there might be intense moments. While the genre might be generally one thing, there's always going to be a little bit of everything, and underneath it all is truth. But I like drawing on all of it. I like feeling all of it.
Is there a genre that you haven't yet worked in that you would like to?
I would like to be in an action movie. I would like to be in an action series. There are 2 reasons let's be honest. There are 3 reasons I work out. One is for my health. One is to look good. That was the one where I was like, okay, you got to be honest. You got to put it together and look good. But the other is because I really want to be an action hero. Like when I was a little girl, I legitimately thought I need to learn to do pull-ups in case someone throws me out the window. Not because my parents were abusive. That was not the thing. But I was like, something dangerous could happen. I could fall off a cliff. I need to learn to do pull-ups. I don't know if it's brave so much as not enough of an instinct for self-preservation.
I think part of why I can see you doing action is because you do voiceovers in video games. So, there's kind of that like same community, maybe like broad.
It's a hero community. You've got like, DC Comics and Marvel. And then you've also got Overwatch and you've got Apex and you've got like all these, it's the superhero mythology.
Right. And touching on that more, the fact that you do voiceovers for video games, how did you get started in that? That is so cool.
I wish it was a sexier story, but it's another branch of the tree that became available to me through my agents. The agents that I had at the time started submitting me on voiceover stuff, and then I very happily booked some really awesome gigs.
The community, the gamer community, is so dedicated.
I'm so in love.
What is to be immersed in that community?
It is such a blessing in so many ways. First of all, when I was a kid, I was a big gamer, and video games and D&D. It was during my first Broadway show, and I remember that I used to come home every day and play video games in between, like during intermission or like whenever I was just chilling. And I was like, "You're playing a lot of video games, and I feel like you should be using your time more wisely. You should take this off your computer." But I got to come back to this community from a different angle, but with an appreciation for it as a consumer and as a player of the games and everything. So I felt like I was coming back to my people. They're magnificent. I could not love them more.
It's so connected. I'm curious, do you play now any of the video games?
I do, not regularly, but I do love role-playing games and story games a lot. I'm so eager to create the games and to create the stories and to write the book and to record the podcast and to do all of these things that
Right.
sometimes actually getting to play the games goes by the wayside. I'm getting the chance to play games with my friends for work, which is
A
what I
dream.
said out loud. It really is. It's like, it's the dream job.
You take your platform and you do so many different things that you love. I do want to touch on, how you use your platform to share not only storytelling, but connecting with people. Your YouTube series, I Am Fun Size, which you have a lot of fun on, but you also do a lot of deep dive conversations, which I love. In your episode with Melanie, right off the bat, you
Oh,
touched on strength and vulnerability, which just sucked me in. I was like, because to me, that is like just something that not a lot of us recognize right off the bat. And it's something that a lot of us have to work on, me, myself, I know at least. And that episode, amazing. Amazing.
well, I will say that, I mean, that episode with Mela was really special. And that was when I had just started going to a longer format live. She is such a bright light that I think I can imagine people not believing that she could possibly be that way all the time. And then you get to know her and she is that way all the time. But part of that way is admitting that we struggle too. At any stage in life, whether you are an Oscar Award winner or whether you are average Joe like you and me, admitting that we struggle not only is good for us, but I think it's good for everyone because it normalizes the real life experiences that we all have. No one is okay all the time. Having that conversation with Mela and also the one with Elle Newlands and the one with Jeannie Bollet, all three of those most recent ones were really special because all three of them are incredibly powerful women who part of their power, and what I hope is part of my power, is the sensitivity that allows us to do what we do, but also means sometimes we're a little more likely to feel things that we don't want to feel. So being able to share that with people is a really special thing.
I think it's such an amazing way to connect people. And it really does not only do that community justice, but it's just bringing apart a new community. Like all the people who watch it, it really does connect people. And I want to end the interview on a fun size note because I have 3 fun questions.
Before you end it then, because I want to end it where you want to end it, obviously the country of India is struggling right now with COVID-19 and with the second wave, and everybody knows that from the news. So I and my friend Lucy Pohl from Overwatch and an incredible group of voice actors who lent us their talents for a video are supporting a fundraiser called All In for India. You can find it at bit.ly/allinforindia, all lowercase. You don't have to you can donate the tiniest amount or you don't have to donate at all, just share it, but please do share it. Because the farther and wider we can spread that word, the more people we can help.
I will make sure that they put a link, they hyperlink,
Thank you.
so way we can get more eyes on it. And so easy, so accessible. All you guys have to do is click the link and you guys can donate. That is wonderful and amazing. These 3 fun questions. What is the secret to your incredible hair? I need to know.
Ooh, rollers and layers.
How do you get it so like thick and shiny and gorgeous?
Layers. I don't wash it very frequently, but it's all about rollers. I use these big Conair hot rollers. I pop them in. I walk the dog with them. I drive around town with them. I have no shame because I want to look good when I get where I'm going.
Well, trust me, they work. Your hair is always gorgeous. I'm so envious. What is your favorite snack?
Ooh, okay. Again, favorites are hard for me. It always changes.
At the moment.
At the moment, I'm a little obsessed with this cereal called Magic Spoon, which it's like a low carb, low sugar, low keto, blah 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 blah. But it tastes like your childhood cereals. It tastes
Really?
like Fruit Loops and Cocoa Puffs and all the things that you are not supposed to eat as a grown up. Now you can eat them as a grown up and not feel guilty about it. And you can make Rice Krispie treats out of it.
How is that even low carb, I mean, how do they even
I'm
do
telling
that?
you, it's very impressive. I could tell you the ingredients, but then now I start to sound really nerdy. So suffice it to say that they're made with magic, and that's what I call Magic Spoon.
And my last question for you, tell me your ideal Saturday. What is
Oh,
perfect Saturday for you?
perfect Saturday. Okay. Wake up and snuggle with the dog and my boo, because that's always a really good way to start the day, just to get a little bit of oxytocin starting the day. Has to be coffee. Coffee has to be in there. So we're going to get up, we're going to have some coffee, or take a drive out to Malibu and go out there and take a hike out there. And then it's really just about spending time with my loved ones. I mean, if we're talking Saturday, assuming Saturday's a day off, that was my assumption. Saturday's never a day off. So I'm assuming you
Okay.
my ideal day off.
The ideal Saturday is that you have work off.
I would want to spend it with my mom and my husband and my dog doing pretty much anything. You know, I told my husband this when we first started dating, that my ideal night would be he does a show, I do a show, we come home and we watch TV in fuzzy socks.
Right.
You know, and that's still to this day kind of how I live. I really just like that quality time with people.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much. Literally, I have to tell you, not just because you've been so complimentary, but your energy is so warm and your questions are so lovely and you are so good at this that I know that you must be incredible at just connecting with people across the board. So I love what you are putting out there. I love I imagine you make people's day just being at the supermarket, let alone doing this for them. So thank you for doing what you do because it's a really, really lovely energy you put out there.
you have no idea how much that compliment means to me. You just made my whole year. But and having it come from you, thank you so much. And thank you for letting me have the opportunity to get to know a little bit of your world. For anyone who had the pleasure of watching this interview, you have to stream Special on Netflix and see the character Bina in her element. It is incredible. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a great day.